everyone, so welcome to today's video. We are doing a full face of new products. I'm using pretty much all new products. There's just a very few that are existing products in my collection that I love and use every single day, like the brow products, the serum that I use to kind of prep my lips, and tight lining eyeliners, but everything else is going to be new. New foundation, new concealer, new face palette, new eyeshadow, mascara, lip, everything is new for the most part. So I'm going to talk you through it step by step, and this is the look. What do you think? Soft, glowy, very everyday, very on brand for me, and I hope you will enjoy it. If you want to see how I did it, then just keep watching. I'm going to start my complexion base today with the Drunk Elephant B-Goldi drops. This has a 5% niacinamide in it. It's got skincare benefits, a champagne kind of glow. I'm going to use my brush. This is the BK Beauty 109. And I'm going to take just a tiny little bit of that and apply that first before going in with some of my Rare Beauty primer, which is the Pore Diffusing one. That's not new specifically to this video, but I do really enjoy that primer and I use it pretty regularly ever since I repurchased it. And I do want to use a little bit of that over this sort of golden glowy primer slash skincare product. It's not really a primer. I don't think it's advertised as a primer, the B-Goldi drops. It just gives a nice luminous kind of glow to the skin that you can use after you finish your skincare routine. Put it underneath makeup like I am today. You can even mix this into a foundation to make it kind of glowy. So something like this gives you a lot of different options. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my Rare Beauty. Same brush, the BK Beauty 109, which is really great for lots of different steps in my routine. But I've been loving it a lot for primer. This is the Smashbox Always On Foundation. I chose the shade F30N. So this is the darkest fair shade that's neutral. I think I kind of matched myself wrong here. This might be too dark. And also, I think I did the same thing with the concealer. I bought the Lancome All Over Concealer in the shade Ivory. I want to say it's 110. Yes, shade 110, which I think is too dark. So there's that. This foundation from Smashbox, this is the side with the label, is supposed to hydrate, control oil, keep everything sort of locked into place. So I'm kind of curious, but I'm also kind of wondering how can you hydrate and also combat oil and keep the skin more of a natural slash matte. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out, right? So like I said, the shade is F30N. And they don't have a lot of really great photos, unfortunately, for matching. That's another thing that kind of sucks here with this sort of release. There's not a lot of photos to choose from and swatches. I wish that they would have done that on their Instagram. But we are going to try this out. I'm going to use my BK Beauty 101 brush to apply the foundation. So I'm going to start with just one pump on my makeup palette here and just see how far I can stretch this out. And hopefully I can kind of make this color work. I don't know if I match myself completely wrong here. Or maybe not. Like, you see? Maybe it's going to be fine. But regardless, I'm going to make this work today because this is the new foundation for today's video. And I don't have another new one to show you. I have some samples of some other ones, but not really like a full-size product to show you in a video. So I'm just gonna kind of stick to this one today. So I do see a little bit of that glow from the Drunk Elephant product coming through, which is nice. But maybe I should have not done that glowy primer or step first, just so I can really get an accurate read of the finish of this Smashbox foundation. So I'll have to kind of annotate maybe on the screen how it looked, maybe just with the Rare Beauty or just a basic primer. And nothing dewy and luminous underneath. But we'll also get to see as well how it holds up with the oil and the dewiness throughout the day. So I'm going to take my beauty sponge and just kind of press that into the skin. I still have some left on my palette, so let's go ahead and just kind of try to build this up a little bit through here. It does feel lightweight. It feels like I'm really not wearing anything at all. So that's actually a good thing. And the more I look at the shade color, the more I'm okay with it. And I was able to get a little bit more coverage. As you can see, it looks a little bit more, I would say more of a solid medium. So it is a good buildable formula. I wouldn't say it's full coverage because I can still see some spots, but I'm okay with that. I don't have to wear full coverage every single day. I'm okay with it being a little bit less than full coverage. Okay, so now for the next complexion thing that I really do feel like I completely matched myself wrong. The Lancome Multitasking Concealer, I chose shade 110, and it says Ivory and then the letter C. So I think this is supposed to be like the cool tone. I don't know, I feel like I kind of messed this up for myself, but that's what the packaging looks like. The doe foot is quite large. I went with a cool tone this time just to kind of see what it would be like doing something a little bit more pink. I usually go with something more neutral, something a little bit more yellow. I never really go for anything like this, but we'll see. I can't knock it until I try it. I'm going to use my Beauty Blender to blend this in. And that blended in so easily. Oh my gosh, that was too easy. Okay, so this concealer, it is a little dark, but it's going to be something that is more of a skin tone match. It's not going to be light and brightening as I am used to. It's kind of the same effect of the Haus Labs concealer that I reviewed a few weeks ago. When it came out, I bought the shade in the light category, 11 Light Neutral, and it covers just like this one, but it's not brightening because it's not light. So this is more of an exact match. And I like the coverage. I like the way it looks under the eyes so far. I feel like I need just a little bit more on this eye. This one is fine, so let's just do a little bit more and just kind of, yeah, let's just dot a little bit more here. But what a difference already with the concealer and the foundation. I feel so much better. So much better. I actually have my Huda Beauty one here, so I think I'm going to use this one since it's already here on my vanity. And I do like to use my sponge to set all of my concealers. I feel like it sets and it removes any of that sort of powdery look that you can kind of get sometimes if you put too much on with a brush. I just like the beauty sponge method of applying under eye setting powder. All right, so now for brows. I did order another brow pencil. This is the Precisely My Brow from Benefit. I did choose 3.5. I didn't realize that they actually had a shade between 3, which is what I normally wear. I've used 4. 4 is darker. So the 3.5 is kind of right in the middle. So they're both really great. I'm going to just continue using, though, my 3 because I kind of like finishing up a product before I open this new one for brows. But I do have 2 of them to show you that I do have a new product. It's not like new to me, but it is a newer product that I recently purchased, or I would say repurchased. But I do like 3. I think 3 is pretty good and it's a little lighter. So I'm going to do this really quickly and then we will move on to the next part of my routine. Brows are done, taken care of, check off the list. Now I have to put on some bronzer to bring back some color and some life back into the skin because everything is looking pretty flat. So I've got 2 different things that I kind of was going back and forth between using. I picked up one of the new Hourglass holiday palettes, and this one is the owl packaging that is a customizable option on the Hourglass website. And on the inside, I chose color palette number 1, and that is the one that is sort of designed to go with the jellyfish packaging. So if you want this color story, and you don't want to customize, your outside packaging is going to be the jellyfish. And then if you want to change it up, you can choose the owl, you can choose the jellyfish, the leopard, and the snake. Those are the other options. So there's 4 different exterior packaging options that you can choose. The other thing that I wanted to sort of try out was the Haus Labs powder bronzer. I finally picked up the Velvet Bronzer in Light Level 2. And I haven't even used it. So I think that I am probably going to use Hourglass and save this for another video. I also have some from Laura Geller that I recently bought. So I've gotten some few new bronzers this past month, just buying some things on my list of things that I wanted to try, birthday stuff. So I think I'm just going to go with the Hourglass because I can do a lot with one palette. And I'm gonna share with you my thoughts and opinions on the actual product, formula, and everything, I think in a separate video, which will be the next one that you see, or it already be posted. If it is, it'll be linked here. So let's get on into this palette. As I said before, I chose Color Story #1 because I felt like that was the one that was most suited for my skin tone. My go-to bronzing brush at the moment, which is my BK Beauty 111. And I'm going to go ahead and use this bronzer. I've used this palette once before, and I am going to reserve my thoughts for my kind of review on it because I feel like I have quite a bit to say about this. It's very soft, very diffused, kind of like an airbrush look to the skin. The formulas are easy to work with. So that applied really nicely over the foundation. This is my first time using this palette over the Smashbox foundation, so it's not skipping, and I didn't set the foundation either. So that's also another bonus that I gotta kind of keep my mental notes. Switching to my blush brush, I'm gonna go into this corally blush here, which that is called Diffused Heat. And that is the one that has that sort of corally kind of veining to it. I will take like a big fluffy brush and go into one of these like powders here, the finishing powder. I will go into both of them, why not? And you can kind of go over the top and just really soften that and just tone that down a little bit if you feel like you got too much on. So I mean, it doesn't happen often, and I'm very heavy-handed, so that's also another good thing to note about this formula is that it's really hard to get it to look really harsh. It's very soft, very sophisticated kind of glow. I will say, though, the actual highlighter here, this is, what is this called? This is the Metallic Strobe Powder in Opal Strobe Light. This actually is very blinding. And I also did pick up one of the Makeup by Mario Soft Glow highlighters in the opal shade, which is like the lightest color, but I think I'm going to stick to this palette just for demo purposes. I'm going to go into that Metallic Strobe Powder and really sort of tap off my brush and go very, very lightly because it can be very blinding if you are too heavy-handed. So you can see it's like an icy light pink shade. So complexion is done, and I'm going to sort of tap this side out a little bit because I feel like it's a little much, and you can see that hopefully the camera picked up how it just kind of toned that down just a little bit. So it's a very user-friendly formula, and then you can use some of these sort of diffuse light powders to set your under eye, go over your face, but I'm going to skip that today because I don't want to put a lot of powder over the foundation just to see how the foundation is going to wear. And now we get to do some eye stuff. I don't have a ton of new like eyeshadow palettes. I've been using the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona, and I feel like you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about that because I use it all the time. I actually use it this past weekend when we did our family portraits. That's the palette that I chose to wear that day because I knew I could count on it to perform well, wear well, and show up nicely in their photos, which it did. But I also have this palette from Laura Geller. I do enjoy Laura Geller products. It's one of my favorite brands for baked highlighting type of formulas, for their French vanilla highlighter, their baked face powders that is a foundation. Their lipsticks are great. The Italian marble lipsticks are my favorite. So I recently picked this up. This is the Baked Full Face Basics palette. And inside you have your sort of, I guess, introductory to this brand. So it's a great way to start with this brand if you're not familiar. You get one of her blushes, which I love the formulas, two of her highlighters, which are spectacular. You have this product here, which is the Baked Body Frosting. I have not tried that yet. That would be a really nice sort of body highlighter, or even to use it lightly as a bronzer. It is very glowy though, so it's kind of one of those that I would be very careful with because I prefer personally matte bronzers. And then I have three of the baked eyeshadows. So Oyster, Sunstone, and Almond. So I think I'm going to use those from this palette today to do a quick eye look. But first, I'm going to set my eyes with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, which I always use before I start any look. This little jar right here saves me from having a lot of creasing and from my eyeshadows sort of migrating and disappearing. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm going to start my eye look with the BK Beauty 212 brush. This is a nice crease brush, and I'm going to take that sandstone color, which honestly looks like a very soft, muted, almost rose type of shade here. So I'm going to go on with that one there, and I will show you up close the tones. These are the colors that I'm going to use today. I've used these once before, and they actually perform well. I have not used her baked eyeshadows. It's been a long time, a couple of years. So I'm sort of revisiting the eyeshadow formula. But I am very familiar with her bronzers, her blushes, her spackle primer. I have quite a few Laura Geller products, and I do really enjoy them, and they're very reasonably priced for the quality that you're getting. It's pretty good. So I'm going to take that Sunstone, I keep wanting to say Sandstone, but it's Sunstone shade, and I'm going to use that to define my crease. And they honestly remind me quite a bit of the It Cosmetics eyeshadows, which I do enjoy because I feel like they are a great matte formula where it doesn't look chalky, dry, or make the skin on your eyes look incredibly dry. I've had that before with my eyeshadows where it just makes my eye area look really dry and just crepey looking and really bizarre. So when this formula is kind of creamy and easy to use and looks so smooth and layers well, it's a winner. That with a different crease brush and just lightly use that to add a little bit more depth to my outer V area. And just like that, a few seconds and it's done, it's blended. And I do get a little bit of sheen with that because I'm using a fluffy brush, but if I were to use my finger or a dense brush, I will be picking up a lot more of that sort of satiny, shimmery finish that it has. I'm going to use that same Sandstone color and Almond with a smaller brush to define my lower lash line. And I'm going to start with the matte, I said Sandstone, didn't I? Sunstone. Oh my gosh, I'm going to keep saying Sandstone. I'm sorry. It's Sunstone. And here's another tip while I'm blending this out. If you have this palette or you purchase something kind of similar to this that has some blush, highlight, eyeshadows, you can use the blush, the highlighter, and the bronzer for eyeshadow. So you can really sort of do what you want with this palette. You don't have to have this palette and only use the pink buttercream blush, specifically speaking to this palette, just for blush. You can use it on your eyes if you want to. You can use the bronzer to add a little bit of definition, which I think, you know what, let's do that. Let's try that out together. I'm going to go back in with that same crease brush that I used for the darker shade, and I'm going to go in with that baked body frosting, which looks like this, very pretty, marbled, and go right into my crease to add a little bit more depth, but not a whole lot because there's a lot of shimmer in this, and this is going to definitely increase that level of sheen in this outer V. So just be careful if you're going to follow this tutorial with the same palette. Picking up a lot of that baked body frosting for the crease, you're going to have a very shimmery crease. Whatever's left, I'm going to go underneath the eye. For my lids, I'm going to use the Oyster shade, which is a really pretty champagne. So that's what that looks like. You could also use some of these, or if you wanted pink, you could do that too. And I'm going to use my classic OG MAC 239 brush for this step. And I'm just going to press that right onto my lids from inner corner all the way until it meets to that darker shade. I'm not overlapping the dark color. So I don't have a new eyeliner. I'm going to just use the ones that I've been reaching for every single day. It's the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I've been wearing a lot of this dark brown eyeliner. It's just a few bucks from the drugstore and it is incredible. I love it. So I do want to try more brands that offer a brown liquid liner because I think it looks really pretty. And then I'm going to tight line. I just pulled out my Makeup by Mario eyeliner pencils. I have the Super Black and the Perfect Brown. So I think I might do the black possibly, maybe the brown for tight lining. So that's going to be the eyeliner for today. And then the mascara that I chose to use today is going to be the Tower 28 mascara. This is the Make Waves mascara. I have not used this. I've had this tube for a few months in my drawer. I've been using my Pillow Talk one from Charlotte Tilbury, which is one of my top favorites. But keeping true to the everything new in this video, or as much as new as I can, I think it's time to open this bad boy up and actually see what the hype is, because that mascara was very popular when it came out. It sold out. So I finally was able to get my hands on it, and I couldn't be more excited to try that. So I'm going to start with my liquid liner in the dark brown shade. Now time for mascara, the Tower 28 Make Waves Mascara. And I'm excited to try this out and see how this actually works. I'm so used to the thickness, the length, and the volume that my Pillow Talk mascara from Charlotte Tilbury gives me that I just keep using it. So this kind of feels a little strange because I've been using that for several months now, but this one has a curved sort of wand, a little bit of a dip to it, so we'll see how well this sort of lifts the lashes. So that is one coat there. I do feel like the brush is easy to get in and coat every single lash. So we're gonna do another coat and see how this sort of builds up. I'm not sure if this is one that will look good the more I layer. Sometimes layering does work, and then there's times where 2 coats is the sweet spot, and anything more than that just tends to look a little crazy. Okay, so here's 2 coats. And then here is 1 coat. So I do think that 2 coats is good, and it definitely has a noticeable difference. But my first impressions, I'm not completely blown away just yet. Maybe this will get better the more I use it. For lips today, I'm going to go in with one of the Laura Geller Italian Marble lipsticks. They recently, I feel like they upgraded their packaging because now it has that magnetic closure, whereas my old one does not. And the old one that I have is called Berry Vanilla, which is my favorite. This one is the Berry Banana. And the whole cool thing about these lipsticks is that they have a swirled effect. So I will show you there. Hopefully the camera will show you that it's kind of swirled so you can see different colors. And when you mix it together as you're applying, it gives you a really pretty shade. So we're gonna go straight into the lips with this product. I do have the Makeup by Mario Moisture Plumping Lip Serum in Pink Glow on since the start of the video, and I'm gonna leave that just because these lipsticks have a bit of a kind of like a shine, kind of a glossy finish. So this is nice. That is such a pretty everyday shade. I really, really like that color. And I was going to use a lip liner, but I chose not to. I did order the Buxom Power Line in Hush Hush Henna. I shared this in my empties because I finished it up and I ended up ordering it before I posted that video. So I did pick up a new one and I'm excited because it has a brush applicator on the end, which is mind-blowing because my old one did not have that, so they repackaged. And this is a fresh one, so I cannot wait to use this. But this would have definitely added a lot more depth and richness and made it darker, which would be perfect, honestly, for fall. But I just wanted to use this and see what this was like on its own because I've been eyeing this Berry Banana shade for a while, and it's making me hungry. Berry Banana sounds like a smoothie, doesn't it? So this is the finished look. What do you think? Do you like? And that is it. That is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was actually fun. I love doing these videos. In fact, I love doing videos, period. I like sitting down playing with makeup. It's something that truly brings me so much joy and happiness. It's one of my absolute truest loves is to sit here and play with makeup. I cannot tell you how happy it makes my heart. It just truly does. So that is it. I will have everything listed for you down below. I so far like everything, but it hasn't been on my face for very long. So I will kind of annotate and do some sort of, not necessarily a check-in, but I will definitely sort of keep an eye on the foundation specifically, how that wears, and just kind of my thoughts as the day progresses, what ends up happening with the foundation. But I do feel like the shade is pretty daggone good. I thought it was dark. It looks dark in the bottle, but on it's fine and it's definitely doable. Everything looks really pretty, glowy, dewy. I'm not really going anywhere today. I'm just doing some things around the house, cleaning up, tidying up laundry. So I feel like this is a very easy, everyday kind of look. And I do like how everything sort of came together and gave me a very polished look without looking too heavy, without feeling heavy. So I do like the end result, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you think of the look. Be on the lookout for another video using more new products because I have tons of new things and lots of new holiday kits coming in the mail very soon, and you'll be seeing that. So subscribe so you don't miss out. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's always on the screen. I hope to chat with you there. Take care, you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.